Hello, everyone. We're going to start. We don't have enough members yet to fill for a quorum, but we will start as a subcommittee because I do see one of our authors here today. With that, if Mr. Wagner would like to come up. Mr. Wagner, you'll be presenting AB 1722.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members. AB 1722 aligns our law dealing with corporations with the law dealing with limited liability corporations in terms of the issue of dissolution. Under the current law, for a C or S corporation, 50% of the shareholders can agree to dissolve the company when you get into these situations where the owners are at loggerheads. Unfortunately, with respect to the limited liability companies, the statute reads more than 50% of the ownership interest. And since often LLCs are small businesses with just two members, that sometimes leads to the situation where you've got a 50-50 split and you have to go to court, which is expensive to dissolve the corporation, rather than the fallback which exists for the regular corporate law itself. And so what we do with this bill is align the two and not require a supermajority, just a 50% split with LLCs to actually invoke dissolution, save the corporate money, corporate assets, and stay out of litigation. Bill is sponsored by the Conference of California Bar Associations, and I have Mr. Larry Doyle from the conference with us to testify further. And with that, I appreciate your attention and urge and I vote.
Hey, Mr. Doyle, would you like to make a few remarks?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members. I think Assemblymember Wagner covered all the bases, everything. We're talking about small LLCs in most cases and trying to avoid unnecessary litigation. With that, I ask for your aye vote.
So we cannot take a motion yet because we're still waiting to fill a quorum, but I will say after reading this bill, this is a very straightforward common sense measure to help hopefully resolve these situations without having to rely on the courts. As Mr. Wagner knows from his work on the Judiciary Committee, we obviously have a huge burden on the courts right now with the funding issues we faced the last couple of years. It has not made things easier, and if we're going to keep a few of these cases out of the courts and resolved through a measure like this, I am in full support. I'd love to be added as a co-sponsor as it goes forward, and I'm sure as soon as we get a quorum here, we'll be able to take this up and get it out of my committee today.
Chair, if you don't mind, quick question.
Yes.
To our witness or to the author, you alluded to examples, but can you give a typical example of what this bill is attempting to address, either in state or elsewhere?
Happy to, Mr. Ridley Thomas. I, in fact, brought one of these cases once when I was in private practice, and where what you have is a situation where it's a small business and you've got each owner, one contributes, say, the capital, and the other contributes, does the operations, runs the business, whatever, but they're 50-50 split. They come to some sort of a disagreement over the direction of the company, how much money to invest in the company, whatever it happens to be. And right now, the way the law is written, if they have co-ownership, they can't dissolve it without having gone to court to get the court to dissolve it. And as I said, I took one of these cases in the last couple of years when I was practicing, and you just watch the money get bled out of the company to me, to their lawyer, to the court system and the court costs, rather than just saying, all right, here's a mechanism where we will value the company and we will, without requiring the involvement of lawyers, without requiring the involvement of the court system, we will allow the assets to be distributed. And a wrinkle on this, for what it's worth, the bill does allow the owners, if they want something other than a 50-50 split, if they want to have a supermajority required for dissolution, they're allowed to put that into their operating agreement.
Okay. With that, Mr. Ridley Thomas, you'd like to follow up? We'll take it.
I didn't know if you're a witness. You said you wanted to make a statement or that.
No, I'm.
Perfect example. Okay.
Yeah, it's an excellent example.
Actually, it's a great question. Thank you.
Move the bill.
We got to actually before that we got to take a roll call and establish a quorum.
Dababne?
Here.
Dababne here. Allen? Here. Allen here. Sajan? Here. Sajan here. Bonilla? Brown? Here. Brown here. Chow? Here. Chow here. Gatto? Here. Gatto here. Hadley? Kim? Lowe? Here. Lowe here. Ridley Thomas? Present. Ridley Thomas here. Stone? We have a quorum.
Any further questions? I think you already made your final words.
We will add you as co-author when the time comes, and I appreciate that. Thank you, and thank you, members.
Let's take a vote.
It's due pass to appropriations. DeBobney?
Aye.
DeBobney, aye. Allen? Aye. Allen, aye. Sajian? Sajian, aye. Bonilla? Brown? Brown, aye. Chow? Chow, aye. Gatto? Gatto, aye. Hadley? Kim? Lowe? Lowe, aye. Ridley Thomas? Ridley Thomas, aye. Stone?
That bill's out.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Mr. Gatto. And is Mr. Irwin here as well? There we go. We have both our authors. Thank you. You guys can begin.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members. There is a problem in society right now, and that problem is that identity thieves are increasingly turning to young people who are not yet majors to steal their credit instead of stealing yours and mine. And the reason why identity thieves are doing this is because children don't check their credit. You're obviously not applying for loans. You're not regularly monitoring your FICO. You're not doing all the things that we adults do. So identity thieves have chosen to prey on children increasingly. And obviously, this is something that's much harder to discover. We typically find identity thievery within a couple weeks or a couple months, but children are only discovering it when they turn 18. This bill would solve that problem by allowing minors to place a credit freeze on their file. It's a very, very important bill. It would simply state that the 3 major credit bureaus have to allow this. It's time for California to join the other states in the union that allow this and protect our children. And I respectfully ask for your aye vote, and I will turn it over to my joint author, Ms. Irwin, for some comments as well.
Move the bill.
And in the first child identity theft report ever issued by Carnegie Mellon's SciLab, it was found that 10.2% of the children in the study had somebody else using their Social Security number. That is 51 times higher than adults in the same population. As Mr. Gatto said, it's because children have clean credit reports and they don't check them generally until age 18. It was revealed that the Social Security number, their Social Security numbers were used to open credit card accounts, obtain employment, and driver's licenses. And this kind of damage to your credit report can have grave consequences. You can be forced to delay entering college or purchasing a home. Leaving our children vulnerable to these thieves is unacceptable, and swift action is needed. In this era of information sharing and cybercrime, we need to equip parents with the tools necessary to protect the financial livelihood of their children. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
I want to thank both the authors of this bill today. This actually happened to me when I was 18 years old getting my financial aid. I figured out that I had some substantial credit card debt on my record that went back about 8 years to the time I was about 10 or 11 years old. It was about a year-long process to get it taken off. Made getting my financial aid a little bit harder. When I went to buy my first car, it came back up because it was still on my credit for one of the bureaus. It was all resolved, but it did take some time and effort, and fortunately I had an ability to get it done. I can imagine there's thousands of people across the country that have had this happen to them that weren't as lucky and that maybe had to go through more turmoil in their own personal finances. And as a committee, as we stress financial literacy and making sure that young people have the opportunity to develop good credit, they should not be hindered as children that falls them into adulthood. So I also want to thank you for working with the committee and accepting the technical recommendations in terms of the clarifying work that was done to make sure the amendments, just make sure the code is all up to speed. And with that, do I have any questions from colleagues? See, we already had a motion. Second. Let's take a vote. Any closing remarks?
Motion is due pass as amended to privacy. DeBobney?
Aye.
DeBobney, aye. Allen? Aye. Allen, aye. Sajian? Aye. Sajian, aye. Bonilla? Aye. Bonilla, aye. Brown? Aye. Brown, aye. Chow? Aye. Chow, aye. Gatto? Aye. Gatto, aye. Hadley? Aye. Hadley, aye. Kim? Aye. Kim, aye. Lowe? Aye. Lowe, aye. Ridley Thomas? Aye. Ridley Thomas, aye. Stone?
Bill is out.
Thank you very much.
Next up, Chairman DeBobney, AB 1784.
Well, I cannot think of a better follow-up bill than AB 1784, school-based saving programs. This is an idea that I think is long overdue. AB 1784 will allow state-chartered banks to participate in school-based savings programs. Currently, federal chartered banks and savings associations already have the authority to participate in these programs within our communities. School-based programs are a collaborative effort between banks and elementary, middle, and high school administrators and teachers that provide financial education activities through presentations, classes, and curriculum development. These programs help students understand the value of saving by opening and managing savings accounts. The programs also include banker classroom presentations on saving and other financial education topics and field trips to banks so students can observe how not only personal finance works, but our banking system operates. Additionally, these programs provide a valuable service not only to our youth, but also to the community at large. One of the great benefits already seen from these programs and from the financial aid and financial literacy work we're doing is that when you are able to give young people and students in particular this kind of education, it actually goes into the household and helps not only their parents, but other siblings, grandparents, aunts, and uncles receive that information as well, and it really has a ripple effect throughout our community. Additionally, these programs provide a valuable service to the community at large. Many of these students, as they leave high school, will be entrusted with tens of thousands of dollars in financial aid. That is real money that will have to be paid back in the future to give them these tools to be able to learn how to not only have a banking account, have a savings account, and other terms like what does a FICO score mean? What does it mean to have credit? To give them these kind of tools at an early age, especially while they're students, I think is invaluable to their future success. So I respectfully ask your aye vote today. And to answer any questions, we have Alex Alanis from the California Bankers Association.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members. Alex Alanis with the California Bankers Association. We want to thank the Chair for carrying our sponsored measure. It's an important bill relating to the delivery of financial education through school-based programs that help students learn kind of a hands-on experience with financial education and financial management. Just makes important changes to the financial code relating to the chartering of banks, or bank charter, should I say. Today I have with me Bill Becker with Comerica Bank. He is the Corporate Community Reinvestment Manager, and he's an expert in this area, so give him a couple minutes to make a statement.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Bill Becker. I'm with Comerica Bank, and I'm based here in California, but I manage our community reinvestment program across all of our markets. 5 states, California, Arizona, Florida, Michigan, Texas. We've been offering the youth savings program, and we are a state chartered bank, so we've been offering this in Michigan and Texas for many years. In Michigan, where we were originally headquartered, we've been offering this program for more than 20 years, almost 25 years. It's been very successful, very well received, and we actually receive more requests to provide the program than we can actually handle. All the schools are managed by employee volunteers. We've been doing this in Texas for the last 7 or 8 years and actually had quite a bit of success there as well. We would like to be able to offer it here in California. The program it's a combination of free savings accounts for kids along with built-in financial education, some very, very valuable lessons. The key thing is that we provide the kids with an opportunity to understand what a bank is, why it's important to save, all of those things. So we feel very strongly, we're very committed to financial education. So I would respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Bill's been moved. Second. Oh, thank you. Second. Bill's been moved and seconded. Questions from, actually, do we have any other witnesses in support first?
Margaret Gladstein on behalf of the California Community Banking Network, also in support. Appreciate you bringing this forward to encourage financial literacy and education.
Great. Any other witnesses in support? Witnesses in opposition? Questions from members? Assemblywoman Brown.
Thank you. I wanted to ask the question, will this be a class and will this be additional work on teachers, number one? And the other one is, will we be looking at credit cards for these students?
We would not be. I'll answer the second part first. We will not include credit cards. These are only savings accounts. These are for the majority of the classes that we provide the service to are elementary school. We do some middle schools and some high schools, but there are no credit cards involved. It's purely a savings account. It's all free of charge. In terms of curriculum, no, there's no cost to the school. There's no. It's built into existing classes class time, whether it's in some cases economics classes in high schools, math classes, and things like that. So it's built into an existing curriculum.
And it's also a very flexible program when you look at what other states are doing. It really is something that allows the local school district and local, in most cases, school and educators that are participating in it to really tailor it to the needs, and really the best suited features of each program can be used by that school or school district to kind of really make sure it has the most bang for the buck.
Well, I can remember when we were kids, well, that was a long time ago, but we used to have savings bonds, and we used to have, bring your pennies to school at that point. So I'm in support of the bill. I just wanted to make sure that we are not giving kids credit cards.
And we are not changing the education code.
And you're not changing the code, right?
All right, good. Other questions, Assemblymember Hadley?
Yes, thank you very much. Very much supportive of the bill, and thanks for bringing it forward. Would love to know if in the other states where this has been successful, if there are other state measures or initiatives, policy changes at the state level that have helped make these programs successful in other states. Are there other things that we should be considering? About the best that I can answer to that, I don't know about a lot of other states. I do know that, for example, Comerica Bank moved its headquarters to Texas 9 years ago. And we were in a similar situation where existing state law would not allow us to provide the program there. So we worked to have the legislation passed that would allow us to provide the class in Texas as well. Okay. Does that answer the question? I mean, if there are things, I'm sure that the chairman would love to pursue additional ways to support this. Financial literacy is a huge challenge in the state, so very supportive of trying to make that happen.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Great.
Mr. Allen?
Assemblywoman Brown.
I just wanted to ask, is it too late to be added on as a
We would love to have
co-author?
you add on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And of course, our coach.
Assemblymember Ridley Thomas.
Mr. Chair, what financial institutions are likely to want to, the non-state banks? Do you know the ones that would be very interested in doing this? Not the non-state, the state charter banks, rather.
Well,
would be interested in doing so.
I think Alan will probably have a better sense of what members of his, but I know when I've been talking to most of the members of the, obviously, association, they seem very excited about this bill. I know Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase have all expressed support. I'm sure, as we heard from Margaret, the community banks are in support of it. And I really think, hopefully, the association and us as members will be able to educate a number of institutions. We all have local banks throughout our districts that I think, if they knew about this, would want to be involved. So we'll look forward to hopefully having a wide representation from across not only the association members, but the community banks and possibly other local banks being involved.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions from members? It's been moved and seconded. Would you like to close?
So just very quickly, I think if you look at the work we've been doing on this committee in the last year and a half, and if you look at some of the issues we're facing still on this committee going forward, a lot of them have root causes in parts of our community and individuals in our community being underbanked, not having access to financial institutions or financial products, and also not having really a grasp on most financial concepts they need to be successful. When you look at this bill, it obviously tries to address both those situations at a very early age to give young people and students in our communities not only an opportunity to have banking services, but also develop a culture of banking, to understand what it means to have a savings account, to understand what it means to eventually have credit and the responsibility that comes with that. So this is one small measure, but hopefully down the road will prevent some of the future problems that we're facing today. So I respectfully ask your aye vote.
Excellent. With that, I think it's a great bill. And please, if you could also add me on as co-author when you do those rounds, that'd be great.
Gotcha.
The vote?
DeBobney.
Aye.
DeBobney, aye. Allen.
Aye.
Allen, aye. Sajian. Sajian, aye. Bonilla. Bonilla, aye. Brown. Brown, aye. Chow. Chow, aye. Gatto. Gatto, aye. Hadley. Hadley, aye. Kim. Kim, aye. Lowe. Lowe, aye. Ridley Thomas. Ridley Thomas, aye. Stone. Stone, aye.
Bill is out.
So that concludes our business. Anyone likes to add on?
AB 1722, Wagner, Bonilla. Bonilla, I. Hadley. Hadley, I. Kim. Kim, I. Stone. Stone, I. AB 1580, Stone. Stone, I.
That concludes this committee hearing. Thank you.